Now that we're over a quarter of the way into the 2021-22 NBA season, we can start to take a lot of numbers around the league a little bit more seriously. Sure, wild, hot, or cold streaks could still have a dramatic effect on an individual player's numbers, but samples are now big enough for meaningful takeaways, and that includes numbers on the game's best shooters. To determine who's most deserving of that distinction, we use the same formula deployed in last week's Exposing the NBA's Worst Shooters this season. Take everyone's average points per attempt from 10 feet and out, subtract the league average from the same range, and multiply that answer by the player's number of attempts. This yields a number that tells us how many more or fewer points the player scored than a perfectly average shooter from a given range and during a given time frame. It also accounts for both efficiency and volume of jump shooters throughout the NBA and gives us a top 5 that's not all that surprising, always a good sign. But before we look at those players, a little FYI on some close calls in the bottom of the list. Those within the shouting distance of 5th place include Kevin Durant, Pat Connaughton, and Desmond Bane. Then, there's a bit of drop-off to that group that includes Fred VanVleet, Joe Harris, and Karl Anthony Towns. As for the final 5, those are Saddiq Bey, minus 34.1, Davion Mitchell, minus 34.6, Jalen Suggs, minus 35, De'Aaron Fox, minus 39.6, and D'Anthony Davis, minus 43.8. So today we are ranking the NBA's best shooters this season. At number 5, Seth Curry. Seth Curry is deserving of this honor and is receiving it in part due to increased offensive responsibility from the Sixers and head coach Doc Rivers. He's averaging 16.3 PPG, 11.6 SPG, and 65% three-point percentage, 90.2. And his first 42.7 three-point percentage shows that he hasn't lost much efficiency. But this isn't new for Curry. He's getting more looks now, but he's been shooting in the NBA long enough to be regarded as a great shooter. For his career, three-point percentage 44.3 and threes per 75 possessions tied for 28th, 2.8. At number 4, Mike Conley. Mike Conley's stats may call him off over time, but he's off to a scorching start as a jump shooter. On Friday, he hit 7 of 7 threes against the Boston Celtics, raising his three-point percentage to 47. It was his 10th game with a 50% or better three-point percentage. That night, Conley's true shooting percentage jumped up to 66.8%, a career high and league high among players with at least as many three-point attempts. The way Utah Jazz coach Quinn Snyder has used Conley as a shooter, nearly 50% of his shots are threes, has made him an even stronger offensive weapon despite entering the post-athletic prime portion of his career at age 34. At number 3, Grayson Allen. The Milwaukee Bucks offseason purchase of Grayson Allen seemed insignificant at the time, but he proved to be a lifesaver to the club, plagued by injuries. His season average is 13.8 points per game, with almost 70% of his tries coming through three-point range. The squad led by Giannis Antetokounmpo needs to be efficient and high volume. Of course, the two-time league MVP is a great attacker. Opposing opponents can back the paint against him if he isn't shooting. With Allen spacing Giannis's drives, opponents had to pick their poison. With Allen on the court, Milwaukee is averaging 112.6 points per 100 possessions and outscoring opponents 9.2. They are 110.2 and negative 0.7 without Allen. At number 2, Patty Mills. Despite Kyrie Irving's absence due to COVID-19 regulations, the Brooklyn Nets lead the Eastern Conference. Patty Mills' shooting is a key reason. A player's presence or absence affects the team's net rating swing, points per 100 possessions. When he's on the floor, it's plus 13.0 and minus 9.3 per 100 possessions. Devoid of Mills, Durant and Harden's net rating goes from plus 11.6 to minus 6.1. With those two superstars, the ball is in a good hands. Mills' desire to be a floor spacer rather than a creator makes him a perfect complement. Mills' points, 12.7, threes, 3.1, and three-point percentage are all career highs, 47.4. It's the NBA's best mark this season. And at number 1, Steph Curry. That Stephen Curry leads the league in this category isn't the most startling news of today's countdown. His mark and second place are nearly the same distance apart, and he has this large lead despite shooting just 27.5% from the field and 33.3% from 3 recently. When you're Curry, you can afford a few frigid streaks. Overall, Curry's been insane, especially from 3. His current season record of 402 triples would be shattered if he plays every game the rest of the way. As if we need a proof of his all-time greatness. Well guys, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. Be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to Sport Utopia, and ring that bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching.